Hey, I'm Brandon Mendenhall, and this is Musicians on the Record. Hit it, David.
This is huge, musicians on the record. Bring it on.
Hi, welcome to Musicians on the Record. I'm David Ward. You've heard the music, now hear their story. And I'm so excited to have on the show today from the Mendenhall Experiment, Brandon Mendenhall on the show. Welcome, Brandon.
Thank you, David. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad you are. Now, you are the lead guitarist of the band. And let's just start with probably the most exciting news to begin with. Your EP is out. Can you tell us about it?
The EP came out via Lucid Records with worldwide distribution for Universal Music Group. It's a 6-song EP, and it features James Monkey Schaefer from Korn on a song called Prosthetic, and Danny Miller from Nine Inch Nails and A Perfect Circle lent his talents to a song called Find a Way Out.
Wow, it's amazing. So you've got some, in addition to the band having major talent, you've had some nice guests come on the EP as well.
Yeah, no, it's a dream come true. Those two guys are two guys that influenced me to want to pick up the instrument and be a musician myself. So.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. And I want to definitely get into some of those influences for you. Let's go back to the beginning with you, Brandon, of when did you fall in love with music and the guitar especially?
Music was always with me it's the earliest thing I can remember in life. But I got into heavy music and really introduced to metal when my best friend / neighbor would install color stereos, and then so I would hear bits and pieces of heavy music at random, and then I started borrowing CDs from his collection, and that's where I heard bands like Korn and Nine Inch Nails and Metallica, Slayer, Pantera, Megadeth. And once I heard that stuff, I was hooked.
Yeah. And why the guitar for you, Brandon? What attracted you to that, other than something like bass or drums or whatever?
I thought guys like Monkey and Head from Korn and Dimebag Darrell, and it looked like the funniest thing in the world to do.
Yeah.
The guitar players always get the attention, they get the acclaim, and
the girls, right?
And the girls.
Right.
Let's not forget the number one, they get the ladies.
That's right.
Who doesn't want to be a guitar player?
Yeah, exactly. So, Korn, Nine Inch Nails, Metallica, these are some of those early influences, and you started listening to this. How old were you?
I was 11 years old at the time.
Okay.
I was really young. I remember the first heavy record I heard was The Downward Spiral from Nine Inch Nails.
Wow.
And it left an impression on me that it was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
And then I remember watching them play at Woodstock 94 on pay-per-view. And I was like, whoa, and then the first time I heard that first Korn record, it was the cement. It just sealed the deal for me.
Amazing. That's really great. Yeah. So do you remember your first guitar then? How did you actually get into playing after you're hearing this great music?
Now we get into the really interesting part of I started playing guitar when I was 19, even though I wanted to play from a very young age, like 4 or 5 years old. I remember wanting to play. And because I have cerebral palsy, I would have to go see like doctors every so often, and I was having a bunch of corrective surgeries and all that stuff
Wow.
at the Disabled Children's Hospital in Chicago. And one of the doctors at that hospital just happened to tell my grandparents that me playing a musical instrument would be a huge impossibility and a huge letdown in my life. So I had a toy guitar, and my grandfather thought it'd be best if he just took it away from me and kind of saved me from my own would-be failure.
Sure.
So I wasn't able to actually pick up the instrument until I was old enough to be a rebellious teenager.
Right. Yeah.
So I started playing when I was 19.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first guitar I got was an Ibanez 7-string. I borrowed $1,000 from my mom or my grandmother to buy the guitar, and I had to hide it from my grandfather.
Oh, really?
And I successfully hid this thing for like 2 months.
Wow.
And then he came home one day and he heard me playing, and I'd only been playing for a couple months, so I wasn't at all any good. He was just kind of like, "You'll never be a guitarist," sit down kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the fuel that lit the fire in my soul to be like,
wow.
You know what, dude? Not only am I going to learn how to play, I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to make an impression on the world.
Wow. Yeah. What a powerful story that is, Brandon, because, whatever challenge you're dealing with, to have that attitude that, this was so important to you, this was so passionate that you had for music and guitar that you weren't going to let anybody stop you.
No, and I'm still like that. I'm relentless in my pursuit of what we do as a band and what I want to achieve in my career and my personal life.
It's amazing. And
I just go after it.
Yeah, that's really great. You set your mind to it and goals, and whatever the challenges are, you're going to achieve it. And go ahead, please.
It's funny you brought that up. I call it Mind Over Matter.
Yeah.
Which is the title of the upcoming documentary film about my life that should be released sometime in, I want to say, 2018 sometime.
That's great.
It's 99% finished. It's directed and produced by Sebastian Paquette, a filmmaker that works with Korn, and it's his first full-length feature film, and we've been working on it for about 3 years. We've got a bunch of guest stars in it, and it just chronicles my whole life, my life story.
That's really great. So sometime in 2018, and we'll certainly promote that when that comes out. We had a brief chance to meet and talk about some of that at the NAMM show in January. I'm really excited to hear that's going to happen.
Yeah, I've seen the movie and I'm just blown away. Like, when we started filming to where it is now, it's just a mind-blowing experience, and
fantastic.
I cannot wait for the people and the masses to get a hold of it, because my main goal behind all of this is to inspire people and to help people. So that was my main motivation behind the movie, and I really hope it gets the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. I mean, it's a really powerful story. And I imagine your grandparents were doing the best they could, trying to protect you from more pain, but that, sometimes it sounds like it's good therapy, actually, for you to play music and play guitar. Can we talk a little bit about how cerebral palsy does bring the challenge or challenges? What challenges are there for you around that?
Cerebral palsy in my day-to-day life I tell people all the time, every day is different. It's not drastically different, but every day is different in the sense of when I wake up, I don't know how my body is going to react. In a sense of, I don't know what my energy levels are going to be like. I don't know what my fatigue levels are going to be like. My muscles are never really at rest, so I'm always kind of tense, which leads to my fatigue, and then depending on how fatigued I am, my mind starts to wander and my mental focus goes. And then I have chronic pain in my left foot from all the surgeries that I've had. And there's always an opportunity of one more surgery right around the corner. So, I suffer from depression and anxiety, but I kind of live my life like, first off, my disability, it doesn't exist to me, and then I try to lead by example and have a positive attitude and, kind of push through it.
Right. It's wonderful. What are the ways that you do to take care of yourself with that challenge? I mean, you're kicking it despite all of that. You're playing in a band, you're going on tour, making records. How do you take care of yourself with all of that?
I just gotta, I think like everybody else, I just gotta be healthy, eat healthy, exercise, the big thing for me is to get enough sleep. Was chasing the sleep dragon, if you will.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's, I try to stay active and watch what I eat and just, get sleep. Sleep is important, especially for me. But as far as guitar playing goes and cerebral palsy, heavy music has become my emotional therapy, and guitar playing has become my physical therapy to overcome my disability, especially with the function in my hand.
Yes, no question. Music heals a lot, right? It may not cure everything, but it does heal some, right?
Right. And I mean, I always come back to it. No matter if I tell people this life chose me, I didn't choose it, because I've tried to walk away a couple of times, and I always come back. This is who I am. This is who I'm supposed to be. So, whenever life gets me down, you just pick up that guitar and
that's right.
some will come out.
That's right. The power of music, right? No question. Yeah. So can we go back then? So you're 19, your grandfather finds out that you're playing guitar. What was their response? Did they just say, "Okay, do what you will"?
He wasn't happy at first, but and it wasn't until I went to college. I went to college for music production at Full Sail, and I have a degree in recording arts.
Oh, great! Wow.
It wasn't until I did that my grandfather fully got on board with my guitar playing.
Okay.
But he was always kind of hard on me. But I think after I went to college, he started to come around a little bit.
Yeah.
And even he passed away about 10 years ago, and he never really told me that he was proud of me, but he told everybody else, apparently.
Okay. So you can, some folks are like that. They'll tell others, but it's hard to do it face to face. So.
The end result is he was just doing what he thought best to push me in ways that he thought, and he knew he could push and motivate me, and obviously it worked, because look at what I'm doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. So were there any important teachers that came into your life, Brandon, as far as guitar? I mean, a lot of this, your passion was so big to play. Did you start taking lessons or more self-taught?
I took guitar lessons for about 14 months,
Okay.
but, a kid with cerebral palsy going into a guitar lesson who has a left hand that's paralyzed, and a teacher has a standardized way of teaching. And when you have a student like me,
Yeah.
who has an unorthodox way of playing,
Yeah.
he did the best he could,
Yeah.
and he taught me some things, but after about 14 months, I realized that I'm not really getting much out of this because there was too much of working with the physical.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I learned to utilize like drop tunings,
Okay.
and maybe I'll grab my guitar.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. That'd be great.
So it wasn't until I was able to utilize like drop tunings, like I tune to drop C.
Okay.
So what I would do is, instead of playing the chords like traditionally,
Yes.
which still really hard for me, I play, since I dropped my guitar to a drop tuning, then I can play power chords
Yeah.
and flat.
Oh.
Like stuff like that,
Yeah, that's great.
After I figured out how to do the drop tuning stuff, then I could focus on songwriting and the arrangements.
Yeah.
And I started putting drum tracks together in Pro Tools, and then I could lay rhythm guitars, and then focus on a song. And then I was like, okay, well I can get other musicians to fill in the parts that I can't play.
That's right. That's right. So you've really kind of developed your own technique out of necessity, even though the teacher couldn't keep up and couldn't tailor it to you. You've kind of made your own guitar technique.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, the main thing for me was I wanted to play guitar and I wanted to be in a band.
Yeah.
And it was obvious to me that I wasn't going to be able to join any band off the street.
Okay.
I couldn't get auditions when I moved here to LA.
No.
Nobody wanted to audition a disabled guitar player and or work around my unique skill set.
Yeah.
And it was a really dark period of my life, and it wasn't until I confided in who is now my mentor, James Monkey Schaefer from Korn. I kind of went to him and I gave him a guitar, and I said, "Here, I want you to have this. Music isn't going so well for me. I think, I'm going to go do something else." And that's when he told me, he goes, "Dude, the best thing you can do is create your own band around your own unique skill set."
Wow. That's great. It's incredible advice, right?
And, it changed my life.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It changed my life because the light bulbs went on, and I was like, you know what? I can do this, and I'm going to do this. And, it took, I started the band in 2008, and now we're in almost 2018.
Right. Yeah.
So 9 years later, we have an album released on a label. We have disco for Universal Music Group. We're endorsed by Monster Energy, Gibson Guitars, EMG, Steve Clayton, coffin case, the list goes on, man. EMG pickups.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Yeah. And I think that really speaks to, your drive, your passion for music, Brandon, that even though there's been moments, feeling of wanting to give up, great job of like networking and reaching out for support from others. And somehow you knew the guy from Korn and he helped, and then the Mendenhall Experiment was born. It's amazing. So how did you get those guys to be in the band?
The guys in my band, I like every other musician, when I decided to form a permanent band here in Los Angeles, I started looking on Craigslist and going through apps and trying to find people and trial and error. And I met the guys in my band now basically via friends in the local music scene, and then they were actually friends of the former lineup that we had.
Okay.
So one lineup kind of fell away and fell apart,
Okay.
and out of it, this new lineup came about.
Okay. Was this also the time around when you started connecting with Can Do Musos, or was that later?
We connected with Can Do Music just last year.
Okay.
Because we've done the Can Do Music thing for the past 2 years.
Okay.
So it was 2016 and 2017
Okay.
that we've been involved with them, and it was a no-brainer for us when we heard what they're doing and what they're about.
Yeah.
It just aligns with what we do.
That's right.
So it's like, let's help each other.
Exactly. Can you talk a little bit about Can Do Musos and what the mission of the organization is and how that connects with you?
Can Do Musos is a online community that brings disabled musicians from all across the globe together. It's kind of a giant networking hub, and basically, if you're disabled and you're a musician, you can submit to them to be a part of the community, and then you go through like a short acceptance process, and then you can network with everybody within their community.
That's awesome.
So a lot of the Can Do Musos are drummers.
Yeah.
And then when they met us and my guys in TMX, they were, we play it. I have a bass player that's partially blind and partially deaf, and, we've got a whole band. So this past NAMM, we became their backing band so that we could perform at the NAMM show and showcase everybody's talents. We had like 4 drummers on stage. We had a keyboard player. We had my guitar player, my bass player, and a percussionist, I believe.
That's really great.
And my vocalist as well.
Right. Yes. So when you started getting your band together, the Mendenhall Experiment, you talked about going on Craigslist in LA. Did you talk to folks? Because you said you had a challenge of couldn't get auditions with other bands. Did you just start telling people up front, look, I've got this challenge, and you can either come and play or see you later?
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. It was like, I play guitar, but I have cerebral palsy, and I play guitar a certain way, and we would basically have to transpose everything to my playing style, and nobody's really down for that,
Right.
Most metal bands are like, what? You can't play like, insert metal band here. You can't play Metallica note for note, then see you later.
Right. Yep. And what are the instruments? What are the instruments in the band, Brandon?
So we have we're 5-piece. We have two guitars, a bass player, vocalist, and drummer. And basically how the band works is how I explained a little earlier, is that I'll start with the basis of something, usually in Pro Tools, and then I'll throw some rhythm guitars down on it, and then I'll bring it into the guys and be like, here's what I have, here's my structure. And then they'll go, oh, well, what if I do this? Or what if I add that? You know, and what if we, it's just like any other band, really. Right. You start with a foundation and you build upon it.
Yeah. And so this is important for people to know, too. This is not just a cover band. You guys are writing original material, putting it out here. Is that correct, right?
Correct. We don't currently we do not have any covers in the set. On this upcoming tour, we are going to do a cover of Roadhouse Blues of the Doors.
Okay. Oh, great.
But we're doing it in the style of the Mendenhall Experiment.
All right. Awesome.
Be a little bit metal and a little heavy and
nice.
And a whole lot of LA.
Yeah, there you go. That's fantastic. Awesome. Yeah. So where does your inspiration, your creativity come from when you're, whether writing songs or your song parts, where does that come from for you, Brandon?
My inspiration with all the music that I like comes from the inside and all the kind of messed up things that I've been through and experienced, having a disability and not having the greatest childhood. And not that my family was always great, but everybody around me wasn't so great. You know, growing up with a disability is extremely challenging, especially in the 80s when they weren't as inept to deal with it as they are now. So, you know, I just kind of pull from a lot of dark influences, stuff that I've been through, experiences, and it's like therapy for me to get that stuff out. I also write for the fans and playing live, you know? I think a lot of it for me now is like, we'll write little riffs and little parts and sections, and I'll go, oh yeah, because this part will be really, really good, like, for the crowd. We can really make them move during the heavy part.
Yes.
And that's what I'm all about. That's the 15-year-old kid in me going, yeah!
Yeah. That's awesome. So what's that like? I mean, you're in LA, you're playing clubs?
Yeah, we're still playing clubs and we play some bars. We'll play anywhere you want us to play.
Yeah, right. So what's that like when you're gearing up for a gig or even in the studio? Do you ever deal with nerves? And if so, how do you deal with that?
I have to curb my anxiety every time I go up on stage.
Sure.
I do an interview, I do anything, you know. It's my anxiety is a day-to-day battle, and much like anybody who has it, but I just, you know, I take a mild medication and I just kind of stay level and I go for it.
Yeah, that's really great. It's powerful, though, that the way you manage this, Brandon, is that what I hear, you feel it, you're managing it, but you don't let it stop you. Like you just said, you go for it anyway. And what happens when you get up on stage? Does that just melt away?
Yeah, mostly in the first 30 seconds, everything, you become one with the experience and you're in the game at that point.
That's right.
We've done so many gigs and so many appearances, I don't even really think about it too much anymore. Yeah. I definitely care, and there's a difference between not thinking about it and not caring.
Sure.
I definitely care.
Sure.
I think when you no longer care about it, when you no longer have those butterflies, then you're kind of over it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
I am definitely not over it.
yeah. No, I can hear your passion is alive and well. It's really great. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite stories around that is the Bill Russell, who used to play for the Boston Celtics. He won 11 championships in 13 years in basketball, but he would throw up before almost every game. He got that nervous, but he still rocked it out. So it's normal stuff that happens.
If every major band that's out there has some sort of story of being nauseous or having butterflies or being nervous. It's like I said, if you're not nervous,
right,
then you're in it for the wrong reason.
That's right. Yeah, it shows you're alive, right? Yeah. So let's talk about the new EP some more then, and tell me about what you really feel great about, what that process was, how what studio did you guys record that in, or was that your own studio?
We recorded the majority of the record at Chris Collier's studio in Santa Clarita, and Chris Collier produced Prom, KXM, and he did part of the production on the latest Korn record.
Okay, wow, amazing.
So,
heavy hitter then.
Getting to work with Chris was a life-changing experience. Not only do I have a lifelong friend out of it, but I have a great producer on my team now.
That's awesome. Yeah. And you said it was a 6-song EP?
Yeah, we cut 8 songs and 6 songs made the record.
Okay.
I think those other 2 songs are going to come out as singles later on. I know we have some restrictions with Universal as to how many songs we were able to release on the record.
Is this being released on an independent label, a different label? Are you guys releasing it yourselves?
The record is being released on an indie label. Lucid Records out of Orange County, but it has worldwide distribution through Universal Music Group.
It's fantastic, wonderful.
Meaning that it's everywhere digitally right now.
You bet, digitally. So iTunes, Amazon, anything you can think of.
iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, it's there. Pandora. It's there.
Nice.
Apple Music, of course.
Right. Can somebody buy it on your website, the Mendenhall Experiment?
Yes, it will be available on the website. The website relaunches on Sunday. We're going to have a whole new the MendenhallExperiment.com. The same guy that built Fall Out Boy's website and Panic at the Disco is doing it for us. So
really great.
We're excited.
Yeah. You're kind of living the rock and roll dream right now, it feels like, despite these challenges that we've talked about. Is this in line with the original dream that you had? I mean, making records, going on tour. Is this what you wanted to do with guitar?
Making records and going on tour and playing gigs and festivals, that's my reward. That's what we get out of it as a band. But the main goal for me with the band was to be successful enough to reach and help other people and kind of be a voice for a social change in how people initially view other people that have disabilities.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
because I feel socially, society's initial reaction is to feel that someone with a disability is not capable. And I'm fighting with my band to change that initial reaction.
Right.
So you don't automatically look at somebody with a disability and think of them as not capable or feel sorry for them. Because at the end of the day, disabled people are very much capable, but the challenging thing, or the sad thing is that society oftentimes doesn't give them a chance to do so.
Right. Yeah, and people don't understand it, or they're afraid of it, or whatever. So what kind of response have you been getting, Brandon? I imagine when people see your band play and they don't know you or your story, they have no idea about challenges or cerebral palsy, right?
Exactly. You come and see my band, you come and see the Mendenhall Experiment, and you would not realize that we have disabilities or afflictions on stage. Me, speaking of particularly me and my bass player, my bassist is partially blind and partially deaf. But you wouldn't know that we have disabilities until that break in the set where we actually tell you that I have cerebral palsy.
It's amazing. So that's part of your show then?
It is a part of our show, and it's important to us to have that break to be that social voice.
Wow. It's really fantastic. You know, it's bigger than music, it feels like to me, and having music with that social consciousness. What kind of reaction, response do you get when you talk about that on stage or after the show?
That's the most amazing part about what we do is people come up to us all the time and they say things like, I never knew what my child was capable of until I read a story about your band, or I saw you play, or somebody down the street told me about TMX, or, you know, all kinds of situations like that.
Sure.
You know, I have a friend who has a disability, or I have a brother, or I have a cousin, or I have a son, or I take care of somebody with a disability. And all these people are starting to realize that the disabled person that they know in their life is more capable than they initially gave them credit for.
Right. Yeah, and so that the power of your story is that maybe if there's another 11-year-old kid who the doctor says maybe guitar isn't so great, they can say, you know what, no, that's really good therapy, give him a guitar, right?
Exactly, and that's one of my main driving points is I do not want another child to have to go through the rejection that I went through.
Sure.
And you know, and that goes for any child, disability or not. If a child wants to play music, put the instrument in their hands. You never know.
That's right.
You put a guitar in some kid's hands, you could be the next Eddie Van Halen or the next Steve Vai.
That's right. Yeah.
You don't know until you give them an opportunity, so why not?
Exactly. Yep. No question. Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be, you know, eventually I'm going to go away and you're going to go away and the guy on the street's going to go away. So we need to encourage that next generation of people to enjoy music like we do.
Yes. That's really great advice for that next generation too. So can we talk about the upcoming tour? And I know Rocklahoma is going to be a big part of that. Can we talk about that as well?
Yeah, we're excited to go on the road again. It's been about, it's been 6 months since we were on the road to do the Aftershock Festival in Sacramento. But we're excited to get back out there. We have that album out now, so we're excited to sell CDs to people and just, I don't really care too much about the money. I just want to get my music in the hands of people.
Sure, you bet. Yeah.
And so we're going out. We're playing Dallas, Texas, on the 24th, and then we go and we play Thunder Alley in Oklahoma. Then we play the big festival, Rocklahoma, with Offspring, Def Leppard,
Wow.
and unfortunately, the headliner for the day that we played was Soundgarden.
Oh no, right. With Chris Cornell, of course. Yeah. How did you respond when you heard about the news?
Chris Cornell's passing is one of those things where the entire music world stops. You know, it happened when Kurt Cobain passed and Layne Staley passed and Prince and Lemmy and now Chris Cornell.
Sure.
So and I'm still digesting it.
Sure.
We were literally on our way to practice earlier that evening. Or the evening prior, and we were talking about how excited we were to play with on the same bill as Soundgarden.
Of course.
And we were actually going to go on right after them
Wow.
on like a side stage.
Goodness.
So we were like, wow, Soundgarden's playing before us, kind of having a chuckle at it, you know?
Yes, of course.
But at the end of the day, we loved them. And we were all influenced by them. And then we came home from later that evening and saw the news, and just, your whole world stops. You know, how you process something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So we're bummed out about Soundgarden, obviously, and we don't know where that festival is going to end up. Obviously, we'll find a filler or something, but we're going to be there, we're going to do it, we're going to pay our respects to Chris the best way we know how, and then we move on. Then we go to my hometown and kind of end the tour with a hometown band in Bradley, Illinois, about 60 miles south of Chicago.
It's amazing. Yeah. And will you guys be traveling by bus? How does all of that? Who helps you with the logistics of all of that?
We've got a tour manager and we've got an RV and a trailer and all that. So
nice. Fantastic.
We're not quite rolling in the tour bus yet, but
yeah. Okay. But soon. Give it a couple more weeks and you'll be good to go, right?
Hey, at least we're not in a van.
That's right. Exactly.
I've done a couple of van tours, and I'll take the RV over a van any day.
Right, no question. Right, RV is way more comfortable. Yeah.
Exactly.
What so far, Brandon, are some of the highlights for you with music, with the Mendenhall Experiment? I'm sorry. Whether playing live or playing in the studio, what are some of those highlights so far? Because there's more to come.
Well, the number one highlight for me is anytime I have somebody with a disability come up to me and kind of give me a testimonial, or a parent of a disabled child. Like, those are the moments that kind of make all of us go, hey, what we're doing here has some solid validation. But then, personally, for my career, it was, you know, getting signed, getting the record deal, getting endorsed by Monster Energy, winning the Guitar Center Battle of the Bands, and having our own, like, a giant poster of us hang in our local guitar center for almost 3 years.
It's amazing.
And for me, as a guitar player, that was very special to me. And then, you know, playing the Aftershock festivals with bands we grew up listening to, like Korn and Slayer and Megadeth and Anthrax and Tool,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and and now to current day, have finally having a record out.
Yeah. Amazing.
And it's kind of surreal for me to have a record out and to have two of my main influences, two of my main heroes be a part of it, King Monkey and Danny Leonard.
What a gift that is, Brandon, right?
I'm kind of on top of the world, to be honest with you.
It's really awesome. I'm so happy for you. It's fantastic. So I'm wondering then, you are clearly a driven, motivated guy, and not letting these challenges stop you. When we reach goals, we usually, enjoy that for a moment, and then we go, okay, what's next? What else do I want to? So what's coming up for you?
So we've got, we're going to go out and we're going to tour this record extensively. We are currently searching for our very first national tour.
Okay, wow.
So I think that would be the biggest next goal on the plate is now we have the record. Yeah. And soon after we're going to have the movie. But now we want the big national tour, and more festivals. We're a band. I think what keeps us going as a band is performing live and playing live. Yeah. Everybody in my band is addicted to being on stage. Yeah. You love it. Yeah. You love it.
Sure.
So anytime we can get out there and play, we're gonna go for it. So. We want to get out there and tour. We want to play some big festivals. We want to do some more community events with the disabled community. Anything we can do to give back, and then we're gonna get back in the studio and make another record.
And make more. That's fantastic. I love it. Can you talked about being on stage, playing live. For folks who've never done that. Can you describe what that feels like a little bit? Like whether you're playing in a club or a huge festival, that's got to feel amazing.
Well, going through my musical journey before I got my act together, I had a brief history with illegal substances, and I can tell you that playing live is the highest. Playing live is the best drug and the highest high that you can achieve, and it's a natural thing. And I think once people get that feeling and that bug, you just want to keep doing it. And it's hard to explain what it feels like if you haven't done it, and it's kind of like being stuck in a slow motion movie that plays at rapid speed because you only really remember bits and pieces of it.
Okay, interesting.
You're kind of, I call it being inside the Matrix.
I love it. That's great. Yeah. So it's the blue pill or the red pill, right? I can't remember which one, right?
but yeah, it's it's the best thing out there.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. It's amazing. Can we talk a little bit about your guitar and your guitar playing and and why for you the Epiphone Gibson Les Paul?
Well, I play mainly Gibson guitars, but Epiphone is still in the family. Yeah. So Gibson and Epiphone, they take care of me very well. But my main attraction to Gibson guitars is the tone and the playability, the feel. The necks work good with my hand. I like that 60s slim taper neck. kind of allows me to move freely around the neck, but really the main draw point behind Gibson is this the sound, the tone.
Yeah.
You can't really find it in any other guitar. Believe me, I've tried.
Okay, so you've tried others, yeah. Yeah.
I always come back to Gibson. Gibson, and I play Gibson guitars and PV amps. So
That's fantastic. And obviously, as musicians, we're always practicing and working on our craft. What are you working on to keep improving just with playing?
that's a really good question. Like for me as a guitarist, having a disability, I'm the guy in the band that has to work 10 times as harder as the rest of the guys. I'm always the guy putting in extra practice hours and extra time on my instrument because I have to just to keep going, to keep my hand limber and my muscle memory there.
Sure.
I'm always going to be playing and just kind of running through the songs, and what I'm trying to work on now is like my picking techniques, and I tell people to focus on their strengths and not their weaknesses. So I'm focusing on my right hand because it's not as afflicted. Left hand.
It's really great.
So I'm working on ways to improve my right hand so that my playing techniques and everything improves as a whole.
It's really great. Makes so much sense. Yeah. And Brandon, for younger musicians who might be watching this in the future, whether they have a physical challenge or disability or not, what advice would you give a young musician who wants to get to some of the places where you're getting, of being on the road, playing gigs, recording? I don't even know if you call them albums. I call them albums still, but you know what I'm talking about. Recording records. What advice would you give?
First and foremost, never give up. If you have a disability, don't let other people around you put limitations on your disability. Don't be afraid to push the boundaries of yourself and explore what you're capable of, because I promise you, you're more capable than you think you are. And then obviously if you're playing an instrument, practice, and just go out there and be a good person. Stay humble, no matter how big you get, what you go through, whatever accomplishments you achieve, just remember where you came from. And then, of course, have fun. Because the bigger you get, the easier it is to lose that aspect of having fun.
Sure.
You're like, oh, well, we're not as big as this band, or we're not selling as many records as that band, or all the kind of BS gets in the way. And that's, at the end of the day, that's not what motivated you to pick up an instrument in the first place. So remember that, and remember it's about having fun.
Great advice. And Brandon, I just really want to honor your courage for doing what you're doing, and it sounds like you're having fun and living your dream, and living with these challenges but not letting them stop you. Thank you so much for being on Musicians on the Record today.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Peace.